Welcome to TNT, baby, the naked truth with Taylor Armstrong, where I'm going to expose everything about my life, and my guests are going to come on, get naked with me, and bear it all. Now let's get naked. Hey, Gemma, how are you, honey?
Good. How are you? I feel like we haven't been in
good.
the studio.
I know we haven't been. It's been
Yeah.
like the holidays and like with 4th of July and everything. It's been kind of crazy, but we're
Oh my
back.
gosh. Back.
And I've had so many things happen to me since we've been out of here that I like was writing them down because I couldn't keep track of all the craziness in my life in general.
And all the things that you have to remember to talk about.
I know. So I have to get your opinion on something. So this weekend, I'm with one of my longtime guy friends, and we're out at the beach at the deck, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he decides to tell me that he has a foot fetish, and he's had this for a very long time, and we've been
Mm-hmm.
friends for years. And as he's
Is
telling
this
me
the first
this,
time he mentioned it?
first time he's ever mentioned it, and
Okay.
I'm just sitting there, of course, in sandals because we're at the beach, and now I'm freaked out thinking, has he been staring at my feet all these years? And then what do people do with foot fetishes? Like, I don't know, but it's kind of got me freaked out.
Okay. Well, the first thing that would freak me out is how he didn't mention it for so many years. So he might have just been like an admirer or something for all those years. My second question is, what shoes were you wearing when he decided to tell you?
Right. I was wearing some strappy sandals, but also at the same time, now I'm feeling like I need to keep my pedicures up. So I'm not even sure, like, if
Yeah.
now I feel like my feet need to look better than they normally do because now I know my friend's clearly been staring at them all these
Oh my
years.
gosh, absolutely. Like, I think absolutely I would be scared to even go anywhere anymore
I know.
without like my feet in full perfect condition.
Also, or like closed toed.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Oh
I'm
my
I'm like a little freaked
gosh.
out about it. So then I Googled it because I need
Yeah,
to know what this is about. Like, does that mean he looks at someone's feet and then he goes home and does weird things? Like, because these fetishes are quite interesting. I
they
mean,
are.
but then
What did he
I
say really quick though? Like, did he want to see your feet when he told you? Or did he say, like, I like your feet, or I've been looking at your feet for a little while? Or like what made him want to tell you? It had to be like that day, like that had to be the shoes you were wearing or something when he was finally like, hey baby, I like your feet.
yeah. No, well, so he was telling me that he went out on a date with this girl and
Yeah.
like she had really hot feet, I guess, whatever
Oh my
that means. And I
gosh.
was like, what do you mean hot feet? And he's like, oh yeah, like I'm really into feet. I have this foot fetish
Oh
thing.
my
And
gosh.
then all
Because
of a sudden I wanted to just hide my feet because I was so freaked out by the whole thing.
what makes a sexy foot anyway? So, I mean, that's an interesting part of it too, right? Because I don't think most people have very good looking feet. Like mine are like, they're okay, but
I
they're
agree.
definitely not anything special.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But okay, so then I looked up this foot fetish thing and it
right.
said that some people that have foot fetishes, they like to watch you pick up things with your toes. I feel like I have no skills because I don't know how to do that. And I guess
You
I
don't
need to practice. I don't know.
at all.
I mean, I guess maybe I could pick something up. We need to try it. We'll
I'm
see.
pretty sure I can.
Yeah.
I'll pick stuff up off the floor with my toe.
And then also, they like to watch you cook with your feet.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Well,
How
I
do
mean,
you
it's
get
all
up
kind
on
of
the
weird.
stove? You get one of those like little camper burners or something. You put it down on the ground.
Yeah, I don't want my feet anywhere near the stove. That whole thing has me. I'm like, okay, maybe they just like to watch you stir the food with your
Maybe
toes.
or eating like cereal, like or something with your
With your
spoon.
toes?
I'm pretty sure I've seen that actually, like by accident on
Okay,
TV
I have no
on the
talent. And then
internet.
painting with your toes. I mean, this sounds a little more artistic than wanting
Painting
just to
is,
suck on your toes or something.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that sounds like seems like better use of time. I mean, if you're cooking or painting or something with your toes than doing something just totally off the wall.
So
But
you're accomplishing something
yeah,
with
I
your
mean, something
fetish. I love it.
is actually being accomplished.
And now I'm thinking like when I go in the shoe store because I did watch this episode of Sex in the City once where the shoe salesman was obsessed with Charlotte's feet.
Yeah.
And so he would give her big discounts to come to the shoe store all the time. And now I think I'm going to be thinking of that the whole entire time when I go try shoes on, that someone is into the feet thing.
That's why I never want anyone to help me at the shoe place. Like you go to Nordstrom, somebody always wants to come over and they want to like actually put the sock on your foot like they used to when you were a kid. Like nobody does that anymore, but Nordstrom does. I'm just kidding.
I like
But
to,
so who are they hiring?
exactly, a bunch of
You-
foot
If
fetishes.
they
So,
got foot fetish.
so fetishes in general, it's an arousal to an inanimate object or a specific target, usually a body part or an object. You can tell
Hmm.
I'm obsessed with this whole fetish thing now. I
Yeah.
can't stop thinking about it.
But is your foot an inanimate object? Inanimate
Well, I
object?
mean, sometimes it can be a body part.
Oh, and a body part.
Yeah, but then it goes back to the whole like sucking on your toes thing, which I don't think I could let someone do that because I would be so insecure by the whole thing. Am I just being too prude on the foot thing?
No, I mean that question opens up a can of worms for sure. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I would want to say, yeah, that's just crazy. But then, like, I don't know, when you're 20, you do crazy things. But now, like, now I'd be like, if my husband came over to me now at 48 years old and was like, baby, let me suck your toes, I'd be like, are you serious?
I know, and then I
I'm
feel like I need
like,
to go wash
no.
my feet, and, like, there's a whole bunch of prep that would have to go into
Yeah,
it.
like, it's just too
I
much.
know, but then there's these okay, I literally am freaked out by this. So there's something called olfactophilia, which
Oh,
kinda goes with the sucking of the toes thing, in my opinion, and also, like, the foot fetish thing, because I'm not into the foot thing, but
oh,
so
factophilia.
olfactophilia, it's an odor fetish. So these are people that
Ugh.
like stinky socks, stinky shoes, they like to lick sweat off of people, and they like BO, they like to lick armpits. Yeah,
Well, that all sounds absolutely horrendous. Ugh.
but
Actually, just I almost feel like I can taste it. But I'm just saying, what if you really like really good smelling stuff? Now, what I was thinking is like I have a friend that puts Febreze everywhere. Like it's absurd. I can't be in her house. I feel like I'm suffocating. There's so little actual oxygen left. Is that the opposite of that? Is it like it's so
yeah,
good it's bad?
yeah,
Or if you
maybe.
burn candles all the time, you always have to have something that smells good? Like, is that still a version of that same disorder?
Or maybe instead of olfactophilia, that'd be olfactophobia, like fear of
Fear of it
bad
being
smell,
bad.
right? Maybe that's a
That's
whole nother
wild.
fetish
Okay, yeah.
thing. Or
That's
maybe that's more of like an obsession than a fetish, though.
I don't know. Well, I do know that when you buy a lot of candles, like I have a basket in my pantry that's just candles.
Me too. I
Like
have
what?
tons of candles.
Like an absurd amount of
Well,
candles.
because we want our houses to smell
I
nice.
mean, yeah,
I don't think
that
that's a I don't think that's a
I don't
fetish.
even use them. I'm never home. I never like, can leave it unattended, so it never burns the candles.
But also, what about the people that are obsessed with the whole smell of sweat and BO
Ugh,
stuff, and you're at the gym working out? Are there people just walking around trying to sniff you while you're on machines? Or like
that's
you get off of a machine and they come over and they want to like smell the machine that you've been on, even though we tell
oh
them off?
gross.
No,
Okay.
I'm freaked out
Well,
by
I
all of
heard
this.
something about this years ago when I heard about some other kind of weird thing where people were selling their panties, but they were saying like I worked out for 2 hours in these panties, like they wanted them like actually
Eh,
whatever, and then somebody actually buys the panties with cash,
uh,
like real money. They actually buy this. I mean I don't know why, but anyway, I I think it's absolutely disgusting.
It's just bizarre. I didn't know any of
I
the
don't know.
like.
I mean, I know I'm probably offending a lot of people by saying that, but like, I don't know. Like, you literally are gonna take somebody's underwear or whatever. Like, it actually freaks me out so bad. That's 100% why I don't work out or go to the gym.
That's our excuse
Yeah,
because we're
it's just
afraid of
I
olfactophilia,
don't
people
want
that want to smell
anyone.
us.
Yeah,
I just,
that's so
I
weird.
know, but where does this come from? I mean, is this
Why?
like a psychological disorder
You
that
actually
you
want to take a piece of fabric that somebody sweated in, it dried, it got all crispy, the whole thing, and then you want to
crispy? She said
breathe it in.
crispy.
Like, yeah, I
Blech.
love that. It's
Oh,
gross.
gross. It's awful. I
No,
mean, no. Okay, I'm
we have
not.
too much time on our hands if
Okay,
this
but
is
then
what we're
here's the
obsessing
extreme
over.
on olfactophilia, and I don't even know if I can say this out loud, but I'm going to say it fast. Face farting.
Like, okay, face farting. Like, obviously, I get it. It's pretty explanatory.
Yeah,
But just why?
I I don't know. I mean, people literally do these
Oh
things
my
called bean
God.
fest where they eat weird things and then they fart on each other in their faces. And this is a
Oh
thing.
my God. I remember a story. There was a story about a man who literally killed his wife. So he like hotboxed her. We have to look up the story because it's like literally a public thing, right?
What does hotboxing
So
mean?
that's I literally learned from reading this article about this happened. Okay, so like you like put your friend or whatever like under the blanket and then you fart so they have to smell
Oh,
it.
like teenage boys.
Yeah, like teenage boys, but this guy did it to his wife and I
Because he thought it
guess
was funny or because she likes it.
I don't know now that you're saying that. Maybe it wasn't like an accident or something mean. Maybe it was like something they were both in on, right? I don't know, but like she like I guess directly inhaled it's like actual methane gas
Gross.
and she died.
Died?
No, she died. She suffocated.
Okay. I,
This was a real thing happened.
this sounds like some kind of an S and
Okay,
M
we gotta
thing.
look it
Like
up.
way
There was
more like
probably
a
more to the
sex.
story,
Yeah, maybe
right?
she was tied up or I don't there's gotta be more to it.
That's
Because
I always thought.
first of all, if my husband ever did something like that to me, he'd be the one that would be dead
Yeah, I
because
agree.
that would not
Oh
work.
no, me too. It'd be
No.
like, let's sign the
Yep.
divorce papers.
We're
I
not a
can't do.
couple of
I
12-year-old
can't do
boys.
this.
No,
Yeah.
but that's weird. Okay, we have to find this story because there has to be more to it. She had to been like really trapped under there. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of sheets did they have? Were they rubber? Because I don't know.
Oh, that's a whole other thing. Oh, he's bringing it up. He's got it
I
there.
love it. The case for the prosecution. This had to have been
All
a
right,
great day in court.
This fool got 5 years.
He did?
So receiving a 5-year suspended sentence for the accidental death of his wife, Gloria Flannery. The case for the prosecution argued the charge of murder, putting it to the court that late one weekday evening, as Mrs. Flannery was reading a Jackie Collins novel in her bed and unwinding for sleep, she was suddenly and forcibly pinned under the duvet by Mr. Flannery,
Oh, duvet.
who sealed the edges with his weight while simultaneously releasing an enormous bolus of flatulence, which displaced all the available oxygen so that Mrs. Flannery passed out nearly instantly and was dead within 30 seconds. That has to be satire, right? Like, is this The Onion?
I don't think so.
This is
mean,
crazy.
is it satire?
No, it's on
Because
Snopes. It has to be real. Like, it's on
It
fact
has to be-
check.
I mean, who could make that
Is
up?
it-
It's so
it's-
bizarre.
I mean, the woman died. Okay, God rest her soul. I
But
feel
did
bad
he
for
think it
even
was
saying.
funny? And she was reading Jackie Collins. I mean, that's
She's
funny
reading
in and of
Jackie
itself.
Collins. Like, did he make that up? Who else was watching? I mean, like, we don't know what happened.
Yeah, and he sealed her so tightly that
I mean,
that
okay,
it must
listen,
have
how
been a lot
old
of
is
gas.
she? How old was she to be laying in bed
Does
with
it
her
say how old
husband?
she was?
Sitting in bed with her husband.
Let me find out real quick.
Okay, I'm
She's
just
sitting
curious.
in bed with her husband, though. He made that up because there's no way you're sitting there reading Jackie Collins. It's just so like
And did he think it was
weird.
funny?
And then somebody just jumps on you with a duvet. Now a duvet's heavy,
Right.
Because you have the top, the bottom, the middle layer, or whatever. So he supposedly pulled this duvet. Oh, dude, this was either straight up murder, okay, or he made up some kind of something. I don't know, but there's a lot about that story that does not seem
I'm thinking
plausible.
he had to have like pumped some of that gas, pardon me, into the area. Like there has to be more to it.
I
Like,
know,
like you would
how
do
did
like
he-
in a car. or
without her
something.
being like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he sealed all the sides down, like she couldn't
What is he,
breathe.
like,
He suffocated her.
awkward? I
There's
don't
like no way.
yeah, he totally suffocated her.
She just
All right,
100%.
I'm finding out some news. It is indeed satire.
okay.
Oh, okay.
No.
So 6 years later, that article continues to circulate via email and social media, with many who encounter it mistaking it for a genuine news report. However, no such case of Dutch oven suffocation occurred.
Dutch
oven
oven.
suffocation.
Dutch oven suffocation.
Okay, I'm really happy that this isn't real.
Me too, because I'm just like can't.
and also other
justify it.
people do not need other ideas of how to kill somebody. So then you
Okay.
could just be like, oh, I was just joking around and I Dutch ovened her. And I didn't
Dutch-
know. I gave her a Dutch oven and it killed her.
I didn't know.
I didn't know. Hot box.
But okay, wait. This is a prime example of. Let's just take a second and talk about how I thought that was a real article that I probably read like 10 years ago, and the whole concept of that happening like stayed as something that was disturbing in my head. And then, I never went back to it, right? And so I go believing this really happened for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then Connor goes and looks it up again to actually verify that it's correct. And guess what? It's not correct. So this is why we need to be careful about what we watch in the media and see how we don't even know when we're being affected.
I love it.
Because I literally thought that was a real story.
Well, if it was a real story, the face farting people should pay
and I've
attention.
told it to other people, so I sound totally stupid.
Well, Gemma, do you have any weird things that you like to smell?
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I do oddly like car gasoline smell.
The smell
like-
of gasoline.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of oddly like it. Or a skunk. Like if somebody hits a
What?
skunk in a road and you can smell the skunk, I oddly like the way the skunk smells.
This is really
But
interesting
I
information.
don't like it like I'd want to smell it again and again. It's a smell. It's like a intriguing.
I don't know. Guys, can we get security over here? Because now I'm concerned that
Oh
Gemma's
my
huffing gasoline.
No,
and
I
skunk
don't
smells.
seek it out. I'm just saying if it's happening.
Yeah, do we need an intervention for you, Gemma?
I would never seek it out
But
or
when
like
you-
spray it on
like,
myself.
I think every other human being on the planet, maybe not. Maybe there's like a whole group of people like you that you guys could get together and smell gasoline. But I'm just
Absolutely,
saying,
put a comment below because I would love to know if somebody else
Really?
has an oddly like there's something like they don't have a fetish or they seek it out. But if there's like a weird smell that you're like, oh, that's not that bad. It's like weird and
like,
intriguing.
you weirdly like it. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm totally freaked out by
Well, I
all
feel
of
like
this.
that's half of the cologne they make for men. Actually, it's like so bad, it's intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like musky, like a
Yeah, it's
animal
like
smell.
it's like literally horrific. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get like that intriguing. It's almost like so bad. They want women to be like intrigued with the smell.
Like luring us, like some
Yeah.
kind of urine smell. Oh,
Right.
wait, speaking of urine, hold on. I read this one too. Check this out. Okay, people have the fetish about urine. They call it water sports or pee play. And they like the warm trickle of pee. They find it relaxing. And then I read,
You can also just take a warm shower,
right? Does it
Yeah,
have to
get-
be urine?
I mean,
And then
it's-
and then it said that they consider themselves human urinals, and that it's related to low self-esteem.
I just love the way your voice sounded when you
Yeah.
said human urinals.
Yeah, but it's related to low self-esteem. Do you think so? You have people peeing on you. I would say that that is like super low self-esteem, but I thought it was funny that the article's like, oh, we relate it to low self-esteem, that you want to be a human urinal. Right?
I mean, it depends what you look at it like. I mean, it could be better than the alternative.
Which is what? A non-human urinal?
No,
I mean,
the other thing you do in the bathroom.
oh, God.
Call
I
that,
didn't
like-
get any further than human urinal
Yeah.
because I'm literally concerned that
No.
because I'm looking all this up, I'm going to get weird shit on my computer now.
Oh,
Like,
for
seriously.
sure. And then you just said the word,
Yeah,
And now you're gonna get all
exactly.
kinds of stuff.
Ironically,
There you
I got
go.
you. I got you. And
I'm
then,
just
okay,
saying
but
it's
does
bad.
that go in the whole realm of this oddly satisfying, quote unquote, stuff that's out there?
I think all of that is way more than oddly satisfying. That's
The
def-
urine stuff?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like that's not oddly, but the oddly satisfying stuff, like what is it when they were doing all of this stuff
With
with the
soap?
slime?
Oh, slime.
Yeah, the slime, and they were like making the sounds and whatnot, or the oddly satisfying when they whisper into the mic and they try to be really sexy, and they're like, oh my gosh,
And they like
and then they start tapping the mic or whatever.
and they make blowing noises.
The blowing, yeah, and they do all that. That's okay. Those I think are oddly satisfying.
But then also some of it
I
is
think the smelling and the sweating and the peeing and all of the other things, that's more like, is that like borderline like a mental disorder? Because Connor had like a really good interesting thing when he said about the foot fetishes, was that it's like the part of the brain that's directly related to the foot or something, and that also controls like whether you have these like extremist views, which is like the fetish on a specific object, right, or body part. I think it's like, is that a mental thing? And then is it like a mental disorder, or is it a chemical imbalance? Is it completely normal? Do people have like variations of that? Like if I say, okay, I might like the smell of a skunk or something once in a while.
said by no one ever.
I know. But what's funny is I actually think it's directly related to, I had a scratch and sniff book when I was a kid, and I'm just remembering this right now actually. And it had like a scratch and sniff that was a skunk smell. So it was like you'd go through and there was like an orange tree and there was like a thing and you'd scratch it and sniff it as part of the story. So like maybe I was like a small kid and that somehow was a happy memory because my mom read me this book and she didn't read me a lot of books. And so maybe I just liked the smell
Aw.
oddly of skunks like deep in my psyche because of this book and my mom, right? Like you never know like what adds up to these things, right?
It all goes back
Like,
to
mentally.
childhood trauma and blaming our parents for
It
everything.
It all goes
That
back
is
to
interesting that
trauma.
you just now realized that. I mean, it's not an orange tree you like the smell of, though. I mean,
No, I actually love orange too. Now
Okay.
and I'm just realizing that
you're
right
an
now.
equal opportunity
Like right
sniffer.
now, I love the oranges.
I like it. Okay, I'm all for it then.
That
As long as
Joe Malone Orange Blossom perfume
oh, I
is
love
off
that
the
too.
charts.
It's
yeah.
really, really good.
It
It doesn't
smells-
smell like stinky man
It's like,
perfume.
no, it's like
cologne.
legit. Like somebody just sliced an orange open in your kitchen.
But then those scents that just linger with you, like you were talking about man perfume. So
Yeah.
there's a valet at one of the places I go, and I love him to death, but he wears a ton of cologne and he always hugs me, and I can just see him coming, and I know I'm going to smell like him for the whole rest of the day.
Oh my
And it's not a
gosh.
good scent. It's like Old Spice or something. And it
You're always
reminds me
thinking-
of like old people and my grandpa and all kinds, which I love my grandpa, but I don't
Right.
want to smell like him.
Right,
And so,
exactly.
but every time he comes at me, and so then now I've started doing something funny. So, my friend Rocket Girl, Megan, who we had
yeah.
on, I'm like, oh, by the way, Megan's right behind me. Be sure you give her a big hug. She always loves that. And then she comes in the restaurant. She's like, I'm going to kill you. Because I
Oh
know
my
you said that whole
God,
thing.
literally the poor kid.
I know. Bless
It's
his
probably
heart,
the
though.
spray Axe, like, because I know my son, he wore like the Axe spray. Of course, I bought it for him, when it came out, everybody thought it was cool. And he oversprayed that spray Axe. But I think like almost any young kid, like, goes too far with the spray.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, this valet is so sweet, though. I would never say anything, but I really don't want to smell like him. It's just a little bizarre.
I know.
So then, okay, so the autonomic let's see, what is it? Oh, autonomous sensory meridian response,
Mm.
ASMR.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
whole
the
tapping
ASMR.
thing that we just talked about, right? The whispering, the tapping.
Yeah.
Does that does slime count as that?
Yeah, because it's all about like putting your hand in it and it making like a schmoochy, like juicy sound. But I think like all of these things are really interesting because like, do we know like were these all real things pre-internet, pre-viral videos, right? So like, I mean, when we were kids, we weren't like buying microphones and trying to make sounds in them. So it's interesting about like how much of this is actually developed over time or normalizing these new ideas. It almost just seems like something to do. Like, the ASMR thing, like almost every video online, people use that now. Like you're like, look at this glass. Taylor, what a cool glass you got for your birthday. It's so awesome.
I don't get it.
No, they do this, and then or your face wash. Every time they go to do a video like on skincare, it's like they tap it and do that. So it's all I don't know what it is, but it's like triggering a part of your brain, or it's keeping you interested in the video because everybody needs like more video time. Or I'm not sure. It's just like
Well, that
what it's happening, like why these things are actually being developed mentally.
so is do you think that's kind of what led to OnlyFans?
Yeah,
Is having people do crazy things? Because I thought OnlyFans was all sex, but then we talked about it the other day, and you said it's lots of things
yeah,
like
like they have the
cooking and
mukbang people on there.
mukbang.
Mukbang.
Okay, so tell me about
So
mukbang.
that I learned about actually was so funny because one of the girls in our network, she's actually does it like on the side, but it's so funny because I knew her in a really
What?
super I knew she's a very super professional girl, works out of Newport Beach, like all this stuff, and I didn't know she had a mukbang channel, and it took me by total surprise. But because I was like interacting with her on social, it like suggested her other channel, right?
Wait, so she has an but tell me what
And it
mukbang
was
is
her.
exactly.
So it's like it's eating large quantities of food, like crazy. Like in some of these women, we have to bring up a video on it. There's like these women will have like really long nails or whatever, but or like you'll have like this little Asian girl and she'll eat like 200 pancakes. Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? It's just like kind of crazy. Or like different people like look at this.
so it's not phallic eating.
No, it's not like it's
It's not like
phallic. It's
sexual.
well, I feel like it's probably got something to
Oh.
do with sexual something, but
Oh,
this
but
is
also she's just over drinking too.
well, her yeah, like and then she talks about it, but look at
Okay.
these are
So
all
she's gonna now she's reaching in and she's gonna eat this entire what is that? What are those scallops? And
yeah.
then she's gonna eat that whole lobster and everything else that's around
She's
it.
probably gonna eat that whole lobster and the whole octopus and
How can
everything.
she? She's tiny. I don't know how she could eat all this. This is
Well,
crazy.
and then they started doing this. So you were talking about OnlyFans. They started doing this on lives, right? So lives, so because people would say you didn't really eat all that or whatever. So I guess it's like they converted
Oh.
to doing like lives. So I'm blown away. So
That makes sense because I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, oh, please, she's editing this to all go together. But if they're doing it live,
yeah, that's what I thought. Because I mean, I just feel like there's no humanly possible way you could eat that much food.
I agree.
Like
And
in one sitting. You have to
no,
bring up another one with like the crazy nails and whatnot. But I feel like you could do like a whole crazy episode on mukbang because they also do wild recipes. Like one girl I saw when I was trying to research it, was she had like burritos and stuff, but she'd like cover them in like hot Cheetos. And then she'd have like another thing with hot Cheetos and like so and I don't know, maybe those were just sponsored. Maybe she's sponsored by hot Cheetos. So like, but they actually come up with all the recipes and stuff and then make quantity of it and then eat it all on camera.
but what's the difference in that and binge eating? Are you getting paid for it, or is it just a social media thing?
Oh, yeah, no, mukbang, you get what? Yeah, mukbang, you eat in front of other people or something.
Yeah,
Right?
but you
You're like eating in front of other people. If you're binge eating, you're just a sad and at home and eating too much.
you eat the whole entire thing of cookies, and you're like, damn me, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go throw up.
like it's crazy.
But this is when you're doing the mukbang, you do it, and people watch you on videos like OnlyFans, or
Yeah, I would think
but they
so.
pay you.
I think
I
so.
don't know. I
I
mean,
know they
I
have
can eat a
high
lot.
YouTube videos. Like this girl was eating chocolate that looked like makeup. Look, like so she made is that chocolate that looks like makeup? Like she made the gummy
Gummies.
candies and then And then you're eating
edible
them.
lipstick. Oh my gosh. And then she's going to eat this little gummy. She's so pretty. I
Well,
don't
it
know why
helps
she's
that
doing
she's
this.
pretty.
I like the fact that it's just her head. You only see is from her neck up.
Yeah.
So this is weird. I got stopped the other day. I mean, this is all weird. I'm just going to say, first of all, everything about this is so weird.
But this is like what our kids are being subjected to. Like on a
I-
daily basis. Like, okay, you guys back there, like you guys are in your 20s. Like, was this stuff like normalized like when you were in high school?
I started to see it, honestly. I never was into it, but like my generation views it as like a sensory thing. Like it's
Is it like mind numbing a little bit? Like when you're
yeah,
watching it, you're just not thinking about anything else.
exactly. And then like you'll see clips of like movies, and then under it is like Subway Surfer or like a game like Doodle Jump in the back, and like it'll crop both of them together, and like it's a whole ADHD like instant gratification need media consume.
So everything you're saying is super interesting because like ADHD and all these like things that are becoming more and more prevalent, like everybody's ADHD now. Like I got diagnosed by TikTok. So but,
I did a
like,
TikTok quiz.
I did. I have I'm like TikTok told me I'm ADHD. But I feel like all of these things is actually leading to the problem, right? So you're like watching one video, and then as you're watching the one video, underneath you're still watching a game or something else is happening, right?
Totally. And like
And the minute you're disinterested, you flip to the next one and it starts over in your head. So it's like dopamine release, dopamine release, dopamine release. And then you wonder why you're addicted.
No, totally. And TikTok especially is very lethal with it because, it's not like there's any downtime in between scrolls. It's just video, 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 video. Like people go for hours. And a lot of like I've been told by, I've got friends and family who are therapists and counselors and all that, and basically a lot of the times ADHD comes from a lack of emotional regulation.
Mhm.
And essentially like a lot of young kids these days, their emotional regulation is the iPad or is the
Yeah.
iPhone, and so
Yeah.
they're not like they're not learning how to like express and like act on that feeling. It's straight to the iPad.
I think
So
my guesstimation would be like honestly like 80% of most youth. So like it's interesting because we talk about the fetishes, but I think a lot of it with young people and why it's like more prevalent, the fetish, I don't think it's an actual fetish. I think it's like I think if an actual fetish is something off in your brain a little bit, or like you were saying, like there's medical studies about like why you would be obsessed with feet or something because it's an appendage, and you're looking at it in a different way. It's close to a certain part of your brain or something. I can understand. But all these other things like mukbang, the ASMR, the oddly satisfying videos, like all of that, I think it's literally all impulse. So I think it's like we've done something by with the social media and all of these things. I think it's like that you're just acting on impulse. Like and then that carries over into like Tinder and all that stuff too, where people don't really treat it like they're talking to people. It's just like, oh, I'm swiping and I'm liking and I'm swiping and I'm liking and I'm swiping and I'm liking. And they might not even be like looking for anything. They're just like entertaining themselves.
But they're also getting validation when they get
Yeah.
swiped in the correct direction.
Right. So it's still getting that dopamine release. So I think dating sites have turned into video games and all of these like social media stuff. It's like it's just it is, and honestly, it's actually done on purpose. And that's why, there's so many people in Congress and everyone arguing about social media. But we have to start educating each other, and we have to also stop and ask ourselves why we're doing something. Because I like little animal videos. Like I love watching the animal videos. Like like a monkey doing something crazy or washing the dishes or whatever. Like I'm obsessed with cute little animal videos, or like a cat sleeping with a dog. Like it's
or
so
like
sweet.
yelling at a cat.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh, we know
Okay,
about all the cat. You know all
right?
about the cats.
Okay, so bringing up the animal stuff, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, and I don't think that I can even discuss whole bestiality thing is too much for me. But
Ugh.
that has to be like some kind of a weird psychological person. But so then
No, that's actually got to be like psychological,
yeah, that's
right?
like a problem
Yeah,
for sure, I think.
yeah.
But so then but there's also this sex with furries thing. People in furry costumes. And it's called yiffing. And they have sex
Why?
with each other and they're wearing like a big bear costume, like a mascot of some sort.
I think you're just bored. Honestly, you got to be like, I don't know. I
I'm just
mean,
wondering how you get to each other's parts when you've got a huge costume on
well,
like
and
that, like a furry.
I'm a data person, so for me, it's like, okay, are we seeing this online, and what's the percentage of people that are actually engaging in this lifestyle? Like, is this like even 1% of the population?
I
Is
don't think
is this
so.
like? I mean,
There's so many. There
what?
are
With
so
furries?
many, and like,
Wait, with
I
furries?
hate that I know this, but
I kind of hate that you know
yeah,
it too. I'm starting to think
it,
between you and Jim, I'm terrified.
yes, you should be.
What?
They spend racks on these suits. They're like $10,000 suits, so you can imagine
What?
what modifications they put into that.
Wait, do you
So
have a picture? Can you look
yeah,
up a picture?
Okay, so what do
yes,
you mean modifications?
And
Oh,
what's the suit?
oh, do they attach things? No, they're like you would see a mascot, right? At a game. Like they're those kinds of actual
What?
costumes. Yeah, like a big gigantic duck or
I thought it was just
something.
like a girl wearing a fuzzy tail or something and some
No, it's a
ears.
full on huge costume, like with the head and everything, like you would
Oh my god, I
wear
need a
as
picture.
a mascot. And then they hook up with each
Oh
other.
my god, so you put on a mascot suit and
Yeah.
then you have
and it
sex in it?
and this is the best part. It's called your fursona instead
Your
of
Oh
your
my god.
persona. Yeah, no, it's
Why?
legit costumes, and they're like if you're a big gigantic teddy bear and I'm a big polar bear, I don't know. Then we
You know
just
what?
hook up.
People have not had to work hard enough. I think that's what's happening. Like people have not had to work hard enough. Children have not had to work hard enough. There's no 5-year-olds doing anything. There's no 10-year-olds doing anything. There are some, obviously. I'm just saying the majority, but like who in their 20s, however old you have to be to fit in this suit, goes to work, earns the money, and then doesn't have to pay rent or something, and then they go and buy this. What did you say?
Like $10,000.
$2,000.
They're like
What?
professional costumes.
Yeah, they're like cosplayers, and some of
For
them now are able to get paid for it because, like, through TikTok and social media, like people will sponsor them.
you get a sponsored sex suit?
hell yeah, bruh.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Probably there's probably people on OnlyFans that like to watch furries have sex.
Oh my god, what is this
Absolutely.
photo?
This is so they have conventions and like they do like best suit, like dance off. Yeah,
And then they
I
have
just
orgies at the same time in their suits.
I have never delved that far. I hope I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna imagine that.
this leads to a
You're
lot
gonna
more.
try not to imagine it.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is like
No, I think they cut holes in the suit and then they have like appendages.
for
and
$10,000, there better be a high tech freaking hole in that suit. I mean, cut a hole.
stuff.
$10,000. That thing should be some kind of like miracle sex therapy. All your problems are cured, and I'm freaking on cloud nine.
You should just be
Whatever.
having sex with yourself inside the suit.
I don't even
It
know what
should
you
be
do
that
for a
good.
$10,000 suit.
I-
That's insane.
No, that's what they do though. And actually, I love the Counting Crows, and he mentions it in one of the songs. He talks about it, like the furry thing.
Oh my god, is
Yeah.
he a furry?
I don't think so, but I think a lot of furries used to go to their concerts, and it became a thing because it was in the song. I
Oh.
love Adam Duritz, so I'm not going to think any further than that. But I'm just saying that he does talk about it in a song. I'm going to pull the song
Really?
up for you and let you listen to it. So then there's that's when you're in furry costumes together and you're doing the thing together. I
Yeah.
assume that both of you are in a costume.
I
or
think this
just
might be
one.
too much information all at
I
one
know.
time.
I don't know. But then there's something where you have your stuffed animals that you like, and these are normal stuffed animals. They're your stuffies.
Okay, but it's not sexual. It's just
It's totally sexual. Like you hang out with your stuffies, and then you do things to your stuffies, your actual stuffed animals. And there's
And
this
you're an
house
adult.
I'm just gonna say
Great.
when we're out boating, there is a house that's just filled to the brim with teddy bears, and I thought the person was a collector, and now I'm starting to think there's more to it than that. And I know I'm gonna be totally freaked out when I drive by that house or boat by that house, float by that house. I'm
So
thinking that
funny.
there's something stuffies going on in
Like
there.
you can see it from the bay or something. You can see
Yes,
inside.
I mean literally all the windows are filled with bears. I'm just gonna go back to the fact that I think it's a collector, not somebody who's actually doing things to the teddy
I
bears.
was like, why would even collecting is weird.
Collecting is weird.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
hoarding
I mean, it
of
is. It's
specific
like actually,
items.
like if we really talk about all these things, it's actually totally insane. Like, I mean, just listen. I think like an entrepreneur. I don't like to spend money unless it can make money. It's crazy to me that when we have such a limited amount of time on earth and we have such a limited amount of resources and every dollar that you make you have to work for and sacrifice your time for. So if you're trading your time for money, none of it's worth it. The problem is that this engaging in this behavior, you're clearly not worried about your time or your money. So I don't understand it.
The hoarding?
Like all of it. Yeah, like the hoarding, the collecting, the dressing up like a furry, the peeing on people, the planning to pee on somebody. The like
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
such a hard time with all of it because you're literally like you don't even know how much time you have on earth and you could be doing something that benefits anything. And instead you're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna like totally call this girl and hi Sarah, like let's have a 2-hour conversation. Like, can you meet me because I wanted to set up like water games this weekend
Water
and
sports.
or water sports this weekend. You're gonna invite your friends over. We're gonna drink a lot of water and have some fun."
Have some pee play.
And to have some pee play. Like this is a real thing. You could be like, hey, Sarah, I want to come over and start a t-shirt company and like we could both be done at the end of the weekend. You could get like 250. I could get 250. It'd be totally fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds better to me. I'm a judgmental asshole maybe, but I'm just saying that person who's spending their time on water sports, someone is supporting them. Somebody's paying their rent, their food, their whatever. So maybe you should be a relief to society and whoever's supporting you and maybe try to figure out how to support yourself a little bit.
As opposed to relieving yourself on people.
Instead of relieving yourself, unless you're getting paid. If you're getting paid, it's totally cool.
Yeah, that's where
Which
the
is why
thing comes
OnlyFans
in.
works.
That's right,
You
100%.
can't be just playing for free.
Okay, well, so when it comes to OnlyFans, you
Yeah.
do remember that on the cotton candy scene from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, right? Meeting the cotton candy.
Well,
and
I
just
have
like to
now
say,
seen it.
it was not meant to be phallic. It was a bowl
But
of cotton
people
candy.
loved it.
People loved it. But when you pull cotton candy out of a bowl, it turns into a shape that looks phallic.
Right.
And so I was just eating it. And then they did it, of course, in slow-mo, which turns everything more sexual.
Dude, there was nothing phallic about the cotton
There really
candy.
wasn't. And
It
then
was that you were trying to eat it.
I was
And that
enjoying
you
my
just
cotton
have a
candy.
sex appeal, Taylor, and it was just you. There's a lot of people that could have been eating that cotton candy and it would not have gone down like that.
Well, then when I was on Real Housewives of Orange County, they had these little tiny ice cream cones, and
Yeah.
it's not that easy to eat on camera. And so I just stuck the whole thing in my mouth and ate it. And so
Right.
then I was in a restaurant recently, and this guy came up to me, and he's literally an agent for OnlyFans. And he said, "I
Oh
think you
my
should come on
gosh.
OnlyFans and just eat things."
Yeah.
Okay, no, but
Mhm.
also I'm like, we'll just eat like normal things, like. Can I eat cereal? Or, because I know what they mean. They want me
Right.
to eat. No, I mean, things like cucumbers, pickles, anything that's actually shaped like a penis is probably what they meant. A
Right.
banana,
And you're
but
like,
I don't think a
no,
cereal counts.
no thanks.
But there are
I mean,
people that
it
like to
could.
watch each other eat because otherwise that mukbang wouldn't happen. People that
Yeah,
just like to watch people eat normal stuff.
Yeah, the mukbang. Well, I don't even think. I think. Well, okay. Well, even the mukbang thing is like when you guys look up the videos, they're they're all outrageous things, and a lot of them are like foods I've never even seen before, like weird squirty, like
Oh,
sea
she said
urchins and stuff.
squirty.
I know squirty.
That's probably what they want me to eat, squirty phallic things.
Yeah.
Wonder what that's all about.
Sounds
But no,
horrific,
I'm not
sounds
doing it.
horrific.
But I thought it was absolutely bizarre that there are agents now that are out like combing restaurants to find people to come on OnlyFans.
I know. I agree. Oh my
Like I
god.
was just watching you eat, and I was thinking, and I'm thinking now I'm scared of showing my feet because there's these people, and now
And your
I'm worried
face.
to eat in a restaurant because apparently people should be watching, maybe videoing and putting it on weird things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You don't have any rights anymore. People just take
no
video of you
rights.
and post it wherever they want.
I know. And I had no idea. I can't eat or take my shoes off ever again. I'm
Right.
totally freaked out by the whole thing. So
I
then
think
on
so.
OnlyFans, though, some of the stuff that they want you to do, like I think you told me you had a friend about the crickets.
Oh yeah, like that was like a bondage thing where she got paid to like wear specific shoes and step on crickets and
Live
like lick
crickets?
them and like
Lick
tell
them. Wait,
Yeah, I guess lick them off the shoe.
were these dead crickets or live?
Well, after you step on them, they're dead.
Oh, so she's killing the crickets and somebody's into this. And then
Mhm.
they want her to lick the crickets off the shoes.
Yeah, and tell him how worthless he is. So it's a degrading thing again.
100%. Like the
Yeah.
pee play, I think.
Like, what is that? We need to do better as a society, like to where people are not feeling so bad about themselves that this is like what their habits are.
I know that they
You
would
know.
allow someone to be like, can you lick the bottom of your shoe? No, I cannot.
But then, yeah, but then from my perspective, even though it sounds wrong, there's people that are like, well, that's what I like. And why am I not allowed to like what I like? And like, because my view is obviously very conservative if I'm not into that. So like, when is it appropriate? When is it not appropriate? When is it weird? And that's when you go back to like, well, if it's not hurting anybody, right? Then it's fine. But
I guess if you're in a group of people that are all into it, then
Yeah.
it becomes a thing and then it's not hurting anyone. But if you're having someone do that you're just trying to make them feel
right.
bad or like lesser
Yeah.
than you, you know,
But then it comes
it's
into a
degrading.
whole blanket scenario too, where you're like, okay, well, if there's nothing wrong with that, because you're not allowed to say there's something wrong with that, right? That you probably it's not healthy for you or whatever to be into this lifestyle or whatever it is, then you can also not tell people like when they're on drugs that they're not hurting anybody. I'm just doing it myself, right? Or if you're an alcoholic, you're not hurting anybody, you're just doing it yourself. So where are the boundaries? Like where are the boundaries between like right and wrong and who's to say what right and wrong is, right? And then where are the boundaries of like when it's affecting just yourself and when it's affecting society? And then you like look at like you're not allowed to kill yourself. It's actually illegal to kill yourself, right? But then you have people that have
We just
terminal
went deep on that one, Jen.
yeah, sorry, but then you have people with terminal illness where, you lobby for them to have the rights to die with dignity, the Die with Dignity thing, right? Act, which I believe in. If you don't want to suffer and you have the ability to not suffer, then, you shouldn't have to. But then that brings you into this whole other, is it right or is it wrong? Is it the guilt of the other people? Is it the other people that can't accept the individual's choice? Or is it the individual that should truly can't make the best call or judgment for themselves, right? And so you're trying to help them. So it's just interesting, like the dynamic, like how do you say what's right and wrong? I mean, I don't know. It's like, I mean, there's certain fetishes that are obviously wrong,
Yeah, or maybe just so odd that it's hard for us to wrap our heads around them. I don't
right?
know. I think the fetish world is like
But I think
beyond
it's like,
fascinating, but I can't keep
well,
I
at the
can't
end
keep
of the
looking
day,
at
it is affecting society. It is affecting people and the people around you, right? Like at whatever time you're spending doing those things. It's just like, it's the same with drugs and it's the same with alcohol and it's the same with, overeating and it's the same with whatever. Like I was a very overweight mother. That was my individual choice, but it obviously affected my children, like my ability to be present or my ability to do whatever, right? So, and then you're like, okay, why do I have that issue? So I not that overeating, just because we're talking about mukbang, but not that overeating is a fetish, but it is also as it is a subconscious self-destructive behavior, right? So when you look at that, it's like, okay, so if you're locked in your room and you're totally obsessed with this furry lifestyle and like you can't hold a regular job and all these things, it's affecting not only whoever's supporting you, but also society and your life and your future. So it's such a much bigger question for me than just the fetish portion of it, right?
when it
Like,
becomes like the fetish becomes the obsession and
yeah,
the
like
fetish
when
comes
is
first.
right, like when
Right.
it's actually affecting your life, right? It's just like anything else, and then affecting the people around you.
Well, definitely. I mean, I
Yeah,
can see if you got into something and it was like your husband gets into it and you're not
yeah,
into it, and then all of a sudden he's hanging out with all the furries
yeah.
and
Because
not
I
hanging
don't
out
have
with
like
you anymore.
on impact. I'm like, okay, dress up like whoever you want, do whatever you want, right? But then I start digging into like why you would make that choice to begin with,
Right.
and like what's happening here, like what's happening here, and it's like it's not that it's like, oh, you're conservative and you have an old fashioned way of thinking of things. It's like, no, I have a realistic view about what it takes to survive and what you need to do to survive as a person, and this is not conducive to doing what you need to do for yourself to survive in the world that we've built, all of us as a society.
Because you've let your obsession take over
Yeah,
the productivity.
that's what I think.
It's very interesting. I don't know, but I know people are into all kinds of weird stuff. Our friend Lacey has an interesting story.
She
I'll have to
does.
let her
Okay, we
tell it
have to
you.
get Lacey's story
Yeah, for sure. You're
because
gonna like it.
she's her fetish story.
It's a fetish story, but when she was telling it to me, it was something I couldn't even envision because
Yeah.
it's just so crazy. I'm gonna have her tell it to you.
Right. Like it's actually so crazy.